We'll start with the prayer. Sahana Bhavatu.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
So we are on the second chapter of this book, Governing Business and Relationships. The chapter is called The Role of the Intellect. And we completed the study of the first topic, what is intellect? And last week we read the whole topic. This topic number 2, how to develop intellect. So the homework was you were supposed to revise that topic. So how many of you could do it? You don't have to raise your hands, just okay. From your smile or lack of smile, I understand. I got the answer. So there are 5 or 6 main points in this particular topic. So in the first topic, he told us what is intellect, what is the difference between mind and intellect. Because whole life we are using these two faculties. Like our body on its own cannot act. Whatever activities we do, they may be simple, basic tasks, from that to the subtle activities. The way you relate to your family, the way you relate to your colleagues. So every aspect of our life, body on its own cannot act. So it is either backed by mind or intellect. So the first topic made it quite clear, the distinction between mind and intellect. And now he is going to tell us how do we strengthen our intellect. So it is extremely important. So last week we already read the whole topic. Now, what we need to understand that faculty of intellect starts developing approximately when you are 10, 12, take away 1 or 2 years here and there, Sometimes even 7, 8-year-old kids, you can see that they have that capacity to reason, may not be fully developed, but you can clearly see the traces. But definitely by 13, 14, you can see there is some kind of logic and reason. If you have teenage kids, you can clearly see that. Whatever is the strength, it may be 5%, 10%, but if you reason with them and if they are available, the intellect is functioning. They can understand logic and reason. But before that, it is only mind. See, when the child is born, primarily it is only the body which is born. Even the mind is in a very embryo state, So all the mothers, they will know what I am talking about. Fathers also may understand, but mothers, they definitely can relate to it, Say, like a small baby can be picked up by anybody. Like 1 week old baby or a few months old baby, anybody can pick it up. Your relatives come to see, they can play with it. In hospital, any nurse can pick it up. But let's say after 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, it starts recognizing a mother to begin with. And slowly it can relate to father, maybe people around, and then it starts getting attached to mother. It wants his mother. So it's all like mind is manifesting. You can clearly see that, but there is absolutely no intellect. So by the time Child is 10, 12, 13, 14 approximately. The intellect is available, whatever intellect that child has. But by that time, you have already become a victim of your mind. It is interesting. It has happened to all of us. There are no exceptions. See, for example, if parents are pampering the child too much, you know, especially well to do parents, they pamper children with whatever, ABC. So, child may become attached to the toy world or a sensual, that's the right word to use. I want this, without which the child could be restless. Also, the likes and dislikes. Yeah, they're clearly formed. I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. And also, religious beliefs or ideas and ideologies have been formed. And clearly see that. A child who is born in a Christian family, by the time child is 14, 15, he or she may be a devout Christian without understanding what is Christianity all about. Child born in a Hindu family is whatever lifestyle it sees around, it takes to that lifestyle, rituals, beliefs. So, three things have happened before intellect is available. Number one, you have already become sensual. I think mind is getting drawn to the sense objects. And since intellect is not developed, mind craves for it. No, mom, I want that toy. No, I want that iPhone. 11, 12-year old child may demand that, you know. It has no capacity to understand, weigh pros and cons. I want latest AirPods, right? AirPods 3, Pro 3, what is the latest one? Anyone knows? Vedant would know immediately. 9, 10, you and I are outdated.
It
They
is
know
four.
all this. Hmm?
Four.
Okay, 4. There you go. It could be 5 also. I don't know. So they want that. So that's what I mean by sensualities. Likes and dislikes you can clearly see in a child. No, I like this food. I don't like that food. And third is religious beliefs, ideas and ideologies. A child who is born and brought up in Russia is totally different from a child who is born and brought up in America. We're not discussing what is right and wrong. The beliefs have happened. Ideas and ideologies, you can clearly see that. And if you do not develop intellect, then you will continue following mind for the rest of your life, which is your life, my life, isn't it? And also, you follow the herd instinct. Whatever others are doing, you are doing. The whole life goes into that. Why you want to become a doctor? It's not I should not become a doctor. It's not I should not take to a study of medicine. So if you are born and brought up in a family of doctors, you may want to follow what your parents have done. We're not saying it is wrong, but are you designed for that? Is that your swadharma? Swadharma meaning, do you have that inclination? You know, and the rest of it and everything, the whole life is based on herd instinct. And all this has happened before our intellect is developed. And since we do not put any efforts to strengthen our intellect, practically whole life is governed by mind. But coming back to the topic, how to develop intellect, you can clearly see in a child that they have that spirit of inquiry. All the parents, they will know what I am talking about. Even from the age of 4, 5, 6, 7, they want to know, mom, what about this? Mom, what about that? And sometimes you and I may find it irritating because many times we don't have answers. Why so? I think just a couple of weeks back, I was in India, not a couple of weeks back, a few days back, and I had gone to Apple store to buy some cord, which I misplaced or something like that. It was a huge, massive mall. And there was a family, mother, father, and maybe two kids, 6, 7, 8 year old, that range. And I happened to be behind them. I was looking for that Apple store, you know. It is not called as Apple Store in India. I did not know that. It is called something else. So I passed it a couple of times and I didn't register. So the young girl, maybe 5 year old, parents were saying, okay, let's go to the second floor now, Why? Immediately she asked, Then after a while, okay, let's go. I think there's IKEA store there. No, I think we should come. Let's go there. Why? At least 10, 12 times. Mother said, father said something. Why? Why? And then mother lost her cool. You stupid girl, keep quiet. You're talking too much. Unnecessarily she got scolding, and the girl started crying. And, simple example I am giving you. So you can clearly see children have that spirit of inquiry. Many parents they try to, this applies in any family, in any faith, but this is more applicable for Indians who have come to America. So they try to force their lifestyle on their children. I'm not saying it is right, it is wrong. Cultural beliefs, the religious beliefs, or rituals, especially. So you have to light a lamp, and they will not tell them what is the meaning behind that, because the parents themselves do not know. Some families they have a tradition of like they get Ganesha every year and they celebrate, or they celebrate Diwali. So 9 out of 10 families, or perhaps 10 out of 10 families, they force those, they try to force those rituals on children. And I have seen many children that they ask, "Well, why should we worship this funny elephant, which is Ganesha?" That's the way they describe it. Now, if you don't know what is Ganesha, I mean, it looks ridiculous. Why should I worship a person who is half elephant, half man? My friends they laugh at me. What kind of animals you are worshipping? Hardly anybody knows the reason, the logic and reason. So children they have that capacity to inquire. In fact, they have that spirit of inquiry. So as a parent, it is your obligation that you have to encourage your children to what?
Ask questions.
Yeah, ask questions. So when they ask questions, give answers.
Answer. Yeah.
Give answers. And that formula or that format of inquiry has to be introduced in any education system. Extremely important. So that's the age group from 8 till 14, 15, 17, 18. They will question everything. But most of the places, best of the best schools, if you go, usually, yes, they may have some, they may encourage questioning, but usually they are bombarded with information. There is not much scope for discussion. I'm talking about education. So that model we follow in Vedanta Academy. Those who know that we have a 3 year course, which is for the youngsters in the age group of 17 to 20, 25, 27. At least 60% of the time is given for students to question. Yes, they listen to Swamiji's lectures, but if you look at the proportion of how many lectures in a year they listen to versus the discussion forums, so there are small group discussions, there is question and answer session, there are presentations. I'm not getting into the detail, but at least 60% of the time is devoted for questioning. And we are trying to do that here also. See, if I were to just come and just give a talk for an hour, it's not going to help you. So therefore, we have introduced every Thursday correct me if I'm wrong, we have small group discussion. It's nothing but a replica of Vedanta Academy. We're trying to do that. And maybe alternate week or whenever there are enough questions, I answer those questions, which is called as question and answer session. Also during the session, there is enough opportunity for you. Usually every session, end of the session, the floor is left open to ask questions, to clarify your doubt. So all educational institutions, they have to introduce this. Yes, there has to, you have to give knowledge. There is no doubt about that. But if it is only knowledge by and large, then how will students develop their intellect? You develop your intellect only when you question, only when you discuss, only when you clarify. So that's the main point. And some of you may say, now, I can't get my childhood back. I can see that written on many faces, And even if you get it back, where is that school? Unless you join Vedanta Academy. I mean, you are still more than welcome to do that if somebody is under 26. I don't know. Anybody 26? Okay, let's assume that nobody is under 26. But that does not mean that you cannot develop your intellect now. See, even from today onwards, if you start questioning everything, it is enough. I mean, this is how you start building your intellect. So, what should you question? When I say everything, every aspect of your life, people ask this question. Every aspect of your life, you have to question. What type of a food I want to eat? Question, I'm not saying this is right, this is wrong. Should I be vegetarian? Should I be non-vegetarian? You make inquiry, you find out, and then you can come to your own conclusion. Should I eat Mexican food? Should I eat Chinese food? Should I eat Indian food? Should I eat fast food? Should I go on a vacation? Should I not go on a vacation? Should I send my children to private school? Should I not send my children to private school? Which car should I buy? A lot of people ask this question to me. At least 4 or 5. I'm talking about the close class members. And I give them inputs. Each one is different. What clothes should I wear? How much money should I spend on my children's wedding? So every aspect of your life, all activities, if you start questioning from now onwards, I mean, it doesn't take how long it takes. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years is enough. You will have enough strength to manage your mind. You have to question your likes and dislikes. We all are victimized by our likes and dislikes. So we have become adults, and like already discussed, by the time we are 14, 15, our likes and dislikes, we are already victimized by our likes and dislikes. So your pronounced likes and dislikes, you have to question. 99.99% of your mind-led activities, they are because of likes and dislikes. So you can prepare a list at physical level, what I like, what I don't like. Does that mean it is the right thing for me to do? So every aspect of your life you have to question from today onwards. The impulses, mind is nothing but impulses. You feel like doing something. It's not that you have to immediately dismiss it, question it. All my friends are going on a long cruise vacation. Now, there is no such thing called as right and wrong. It's not a crime to go on a cruise vacation, but do you really enjoy that? I have heard this at least from 10, 12 people that it was the most sickening experience of their life. Especially cruises where, what do you call this? They're full of indulgences. There's a movie, there is dance, there is this, there is that. I'm not saying it is wrong. I mean, there are people who like that kind of entertainment. So one guy has suggested, why don't you take a National Geographic cruise? He had to take the cruise. He said, no, in my lifetime, at least one or two cruises I have to take. And he went on that this dancing cruise or whatever you call it. And then he was very happy. Uh, Thanks, Amit, you suggested that because he was fond of nature, you know. So I'm trying to give examples from day to day life. So every aspect of life you have to question. Good many of you are Indians, and 99.99% of you are victimized by that desire to show your wealth in children's wedding. Whatever wealth you have. Why everybody is doing it? Should I? Should I do that? Question it. There is a quotation from Lord Buddha. It's not in this book, Governing Business and Relationships, but it is in Vedanta treatise. What is the reference, Radha?
Vedanta Treatise, Chapter 7, Light of Wisdom, Topic 2, How to Gain Wisdom.
Yeah, so can we project it?
The 8th paragraph.
Yeah, there you go. Lord Buddha has cautioned humanity over 2500 years ago on the important role of reason in human life. So, how to develop intellect? That's the topic in that book, Vedanta Treatise. So, this is what Buddha says: do not believe what you have heard. Do not believe in tradition because it is handed down many generations. Do not believe in anything that has been spoken of many times. Do not believe because the written statements come from some old sage. Do not believe in conjecture. Do not believe in authority or teachers or elders. But after careful observation and analysis, when it agrees with reason and it will benefit one and all, then accept it and live by it. That does not mean you challenge everything. If you must misunderstand, then you will start challenging everything. Your elders tell you something, the scriptures tell you something. Why will I do that? No, I won't. It doesn't mean that. So that spirit of inquiry is done within you. That why? And that's what we are trying to demonstrate. There's enough opportunity for all of you to question what we are studying, isn't it? I've given this example a number of times in Vedanta Academy. We cannot quote Swamiji. May sound, I don't know what word to use, but we cannot quote Swamiji. This is what Swamiji has said. Of course, in the context, we can do that. But when I joined in 1997, there were a bunch of students. We used to have these group discussions. And if somebody asks the question, they will pounce on that student. This is what Swamiji said. And you are new, you will keep quiet. Now, what do you say? This is what Swamiji said, okay, I swallow. When Swamiji came to know about that, one of the most fascinating lectures he gave. And he said, from today onwards, every student of Vedanta Academy is banned from quoting Swamiji. You have to understand in what spirit is saying. The moment somebody says Swamiji said so in a group discussion, come and report to me. I will deal with that guy. So question all aspects of your life. Question your ideas, your ideologies, what religion you are following. It's not that you challenge. Don't misunderstand. So nobody has a clue. Why I say I'm a Hindu? I have no clue. 99.99%. Why I say I'm Muslim? I have no clue. Why am I a Christian? I have no clue. And all the wars, all the confrontations, they are happening because of the misunderstanding of religion. Nobody understands what is it all about. And by the time you're 14, 15, 16, 17, it's all done. So after that, your shutters are down. So every aspect of your life you have to question. So that's the way you build your intellect. And then he gives example of muscles. Last week we already read the topic, so I'm just explaining key points from that. So every human being is born with muscles, isn't it? But what muscles we have today, there is no comparison. As a baby, what muscles we had? Baby has no muscles, very weak muscles. Even 1 or 2 year old kids, they can't really walk properly. Suddenly they will fall and they'll go tumbling down. Parents will know what I am talking about. And babies, they have to be literally picked up. Muscles are so weak. But now as adults, we have strong muscles. So how did we develop these muscles? By using them, either consciously or unconsciously. So similarly, as a human being, we are born with intellect. We are not animals. Our strength may differ. One person may have 10% strength, another person may have 20% strength. That is bound to be there because of your previous life. You're carrying forward your intellect. But whatever intellect you have now, existing intellect, you have to start using it. How to use it? Question everything. That is how you build your intellect. Number one, you have to go through systematic program of study and reflection. This is what we are providing here. Are you following the thought flow? Number one is what? Question every aspect of your life. Question your ideologies, question your beliefs, question your likes and dislikes. Everything you have to question. Second is you have to go through systematic program of study and reflection. This is what we are doing in Vedanta classes. The ultimate program is e-learning program of Vedanta Academy, where Swamiji himself has taught this knowledge, where you go through study of maybe 10 or 12 books in 3 years. Many of you are doing that. But if it is haphazard study, then it will not help you. Underline the word systematic program of study and reflection. See, here also, if somebody approaches the study of Vedanta in a confused or haphazard manner, it's not going to help you. Today you read this book, tomorrow you read some other book, this week you listen to, I don't know, some Swami, next week you listen to another person on YouTube. A lot of people, they do that. Initially it is okay till you get that fixation, till you identify, okay, this is the right person, this is the right book for me. Same thing we are doing. If you really want to build muscles, you can't really do on your own. You can't do yoga on your own. Simple example. There's so many people who have met with serious injuries while doing yoga. Not to talk about lifting muscles. When I was 16, 17, I got that bug of bodybuilding, herd instinct. There is no logic and reason. Some of my friends and all, in the evening they used to work out in the gym. So I started doing the same thing. Maybe I was 17 or 18. And I was doing squats and I fell with that huge weight. Happened 35, 40 years back. Till this day, I'm carrying that injury. So when I go to India, this one sports medicine doctor, she's trying to fix my body. She's the one, the moment she saw me, she asked me, did you have any injury as a child or as a teenager? Nobody had asked that question to me because she saw my structure was tilting in a particular way. So why did I get into that injury? No guidance. Are you with me? So exactly same thing applies if you try to study Vedanta on your own, and most people they do that. And even when I am saying this, those who are saying yes, yes, 9 out of 10 will not follow what I am saying. I can give it to you in writing on a stamp paper. I know who these people are. I will not say a word, in none of my business. My business is my life. My association with this knowledge is to apply this knowledge on myself. I had this problem for many, many years. When Swamiji sent me on these assignments, go run this center, that center, and I had no inclination to talk at all. I was not interested. I asked Swamiji, I'm not inclined to speak, I don't like to talk. So why should I give lectures? But I joined Vedanta Academy as a seeker. Very nicely explained. He said, no, it is your obligation, whatever knowledge you have. And when you talk, people will benefit. But the focus is on yourself. Even now I'm talking. Yes, I'm lecturing, but not really. And the focus has to be on lecturing to myself. And that is where that systematic study and reflection comes in. And good many of you are following, or trying to follow. So that muscles example is very good. It's in the book, maybe third or fourth paragraph. And the last point which he mentions towards the end is, if you do not develop your intellect, your whole life will be full of problems. One problem after the other problem. It starts with a relationship to begin with. You cannot get along with your own spouse. You cannot get along with your colleagues. You cannot get along with your own siblings sometimes, members of society. There is finance problem. There is this problem, the conflicts, confrontations, work-related issues, stress, worry, anxiety. 99.99% are self-inflicted problems. You understand about self-inflicted problems? Therefore, you can come out with a list of 100 problems which you have made in life, or like mistakes which you have made in life. But there is only one cause. What is that one cause?
Not developing intellect.
Your intellect is not developed. Just look within. How do you relate to your spouse? How many of you can claim you have perfect harmony? How many of you are in the second, third, fourth marriage? Please don't raise hands. That's not the point. And it's not that fifth marriage you're going to meet with an angel. Even if you meet with an angel, it will be a disaster if you don't have an intellect. So problems after problems in life, individually and collectively. You can clearly see in the world what is happening without getting into the details. It's not that it's happening only today. We are witnessing it within our lifetime. That is all. And the way things are heading, we don't know. So this war situation, where we may end up as a humanity. So collectively, it is happening. Individually, it is happening. But there is only one cause. What is that cause? There is no second cause. What is that cause?
Lack of intellect.
Our lack of developing or questioning, our life.
Intellect is not developed. Number one, since intellect is not developed, you cannot correlate. What you cannot correlate?
our reasoning, cause and effect
Of what?
of the actions, what is happening.
Mhm. If there is a problem in a relationship, just for argument's sake, see, you cannot understand that since I do not know how to relate to my own spouse, there is a problem in a relationship. Are you getting it? Husband will blame wife. Wife will blame husband. And none of them will suspect that I am victim of my own mind. Therefore, I do not know how to relate to my own spouse. How many families I have seen, parents and children, they cannot get along. Both scream at each other. There is no normal dialogue. Children, they are screaming at parents, parents are screaming at children. And both love each other. It's not that they hate each other. They cannot get along with each other. What is the reason? Your own intellect is not developed. Finances, I've seen people make blunder after blunder, the way they manage their finances. But they will not be able to correlate. Stress. Why are you stressed? Why are you full of worry and anxiety? You will blame the external world, but you will not suspect that since my intellect is weak, my mind has overpowered my intellect. That's what I mean by correlate. So therefore, he concludes the last paragraph. He concludes that you must study 4 books. He mentions only 2 books, 3 books rather, the book which we are studying and 2 more books. That time, Holocaust of Attachment was not written. It came a bit later. So it's like very systematic study. These 4 books. Yes, all of you are studying Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, but per se, it will not give you clarity. And I'm saying this as a teacher of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. That's our main activity. Because they assume you already know. It's not systematic knowledge. It is given to seekers who are quite advanced. So they assume that you already know the basics. Your concepts are clear. So anybody who just studies Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad, any book for that matter, you will find practically all of them either they lack clarity or they misunderstand. Isn't it? They are innocent. They are sincere. I'm not saying they are intentionally doing that because they have not gone through systematic study. The most subtle science is science of Vedanta, the human development, the spiritual growth. So therefore, coming back, you develop your intellect by questioning every aspect of your life. Do I really need a pet? We all live in America. There is no right or wrong answer. Don't say this guy hates cats and dogs. As a child, I had cats and dogs. Thanks to my mother. You know, I used to bring them and dump them on my mother. She will take care of them. But do I really need a pet? You ask yourself. I'm not saying answer is yes, answer is no. Maximum number of pet dogs in the world are in America. I don't know how many of you know this statistics. Maximum number of dogs, because there are no street dogs in America. India, maximum street dogs, not too many dogs as a pet. Do I really need dog or a cat as a pet? Question. I'm not saying answer has to be no, but on what basis you are taking that decision? So question every aspect of your life, including what Lord Buddha said. And secondly, you need a systematic study and program, which is study of Vedanta. And right from early childhood, children should be encouraged to question. And that module of questioning, that question and answer session format, has to be introduced in all educational institutions. So in case you are heading a school or you are in a position to introduce that, please do it. Next week, somebody is taking me. There is a well-known school here, Jewish school, and the person, he attends our classes, and I think he is one of the founding directors of that school. So he has been inspired by this knowledge. So he wants the school to introduce this knowledge in their curriculum. The basic, the fall of the human intellect for 8th, 9th, 10th grade. So I'm going to meet the board next week. So if you are in a position to do that, please do it. Or at least you introduce this in your own homes. That is within your control. So these are the main points, 5 to 6 main points about how to develop intellect. So any questions?
Ramya has a question, Amit.
Yeah, please.
Amitji, we were talking about, you were telling that children, obviously, they understand logic and reasoning from a little bit later age. And, in the initial few years, it's all about the mind. I know that one of the aspects that you said, that let them question and you answer the question, but are there other ways in which, you can earlier introduce them to Vedanta and spirituality, such that, their mind is not overtaking them as much? And, even without logic and reasoning, like how do you, make them less a prey to their mind and, more towards like, okay, understanding and then reacting?
See, you have to live this life. There is nothing you can't. It's a misnomer. How do I mold my children? You cannot mold your children. You have to mold yourself. So if, as a mother, as a parent, you are living these values, the values which are given out by the scriptures, that is what they will imitate. But that's what they are seeing around them. It's all positive influence. If they see children see parents fighting at home, again, I think it happened yesterday. I had gone to pick up something from either the Whole Foods or whatever. It's not a pleasant scene. Like husband and wife, they were screaming and yelling at each other in the parking lot. And two children, I don't know, 4 or 5-year-old, they are so scared watching. The language which they were using, I wish I could mention it here, but it's not possible. This is Vedanta class. You have to use your imagination. So this is what the children, they are saying. So when they grow up, you can't blame them that boy treats his wife like that or wife treats her husband like that. There is nothing to mold children. You need to mold yourself by this knowledge. And there are enough examples in this classroom. We have been doing sessions for the youth for a long time, and I would say Vijay and Raji, the contribution is amazing. How many last 10-15 years you have been hosting classes? Nobody, he should get some award, but such people, they don't get awards. Silently they have been working. But first, Vijay and wife, they changed themselves. Yeah, 20 such examples I can give you. And the children, they have come out beautifully. So therefore, you need to change yourself. You have to be established in this knowledge. You have to live this life to the extent possible. automatically children will follow it. When their intellect is not developed, it's a good question. And as the intellect starts developing, which we already discussed, but before that damage is done, that's the problem. You know?
Thank you, Amitji.
Yeah, uncle has a question.
Yeah, Amiji, comment on like questioning versus challenging. I can question everything in my life, but the world I live in, again, sounds like I'm blaming the world, but challenge is not always. Questioning it is okay, but where do I get with that? Because if I challenge things, or if I fight them at my workplace or at my, in my home with my children, then I am singled out as, there's a troublemaker. So how do I handle that?
No, you need to do it internally. I think I
Okay.
already said it very clearly.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, you can't really change others. They are following a particular lifestyle. Each one is at a different level of spiritual evolution, right?
Yeah.
And good many people are materialistic and sensual or self-centered, whatever. So if they try to drag you in their lifestyle, you question yourself whether I want to do it or how do I deal with this situation. You can't tell them.
Right.
Therefore, I gave example of this cruise. I mean, just because everybody is going on a cruise, you are also going on a cruise. So how many questions? Already I've been on 5 cruises. I'm just giving example. Do I really need to go on a 6th cruise? I mean, is it going to help me? If it is going to help you, please go. But is it going to bring me down? So it is done internally.
Okay.
And then using your intellect to deal with that situation. Sometimes you may even end up going, but you have no value for that.
Right.
So you have to use your sense of proportion. Similarly, for religious beliefs, now why do we chant invocation prayer at the beginning of each class? There is a meaning, there's a science behind that. We already explained it a number of times. Because it is a switching from gross intellect to subtle intellect. So it needs some time. So we are giving time for that intellect to switch from gross to subtle. And also there's a meaning. Om Sahana Bhavatu, that prayer, May we not fight with each other. May we focus on our spiritual development. As a student, we are reminding ourselves. So one thing is you may ask, therefore we always show the translation. What is the purpose of the prayer? Why do we sing bhajans, devotional music? Second thing is challenge. Now, why we have to chant a prayer? It happened in one of the classes long time back. That guy did not even give me an opportunity to explain. The next week onwards, he dropped out. It was a follow the human intellect class, and he started with invocation prayer. You're imposing Hinduism on me. He made statements. So it's like challenging. One thing is you inquire, spirit of inquiry. That's what Lord Buddha is saying. You have to go to a temple. You have to go to a church. Why should I? Internally, it's not you like challenge your parents or elders. In that sense, he's saying. Even Vedanta, every aspect of what we are learning, there is spirit of inquiry. So therefore, there are so many questions. The fact that we are discussing itself, this is a scriptural class, but it is in the format of question and answer. And traditionally, that is the case, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita is nothing but question and answer session. Upanishad is nothing but question and answer session. So that tradition has been broken by phonetic teachers, actually. So is that internally you inquire. everything, all aspects of life. Why should I support party A? I'm talking about politics. Your family may be supporting party A. Why should I do that internally? So every aspect of life is like that.
Thank you.
So are we okay? All right. So the next topic is intellect versus intelligence. So topic 1, he told us what is intellect. Second topic, how we build our intellect. And now he's going to tell us the difference between intellect and intelligence. So if you use the word information for intelligence, it might become a bit easy. So let's read the first 2 paragraphs. Charu, would you like to read?
Yes, sure, Abhijit. Intellect versus intelligence. Humans around the world blunder in engaging all their time in merely acquiring intelligence at the expense of developing the all important intellect. A serious lapse stemming from the failure to realize the distinction between intellect and intelligence. Intelligence is built by gaining information, knowledge from external agencies, from schools and universities, from teachers and textbooks. Distinct and different from intelligence is the intellect. The intellect is developed through your individual effort by exercising the faculty of questioning, thinking, reasoning, not accepting anything that does not admit logic or reason. You must realize the difference between the two, and that any amount of intelligence gained cannot per se build your intellect.
Read one more paragraph.
The intelligence acquired from external agencies is much like the data fed into a computer. Consider a computer charged with a complete knowledge of fire extinguishers, firefighting, and fire escapes. All the knowledge stored in its memory cannot help the computer act on its own. If the room catches fire, it cannot escape. It will perish in the flames. Likewise, all the knowledge you acquire is of no use to you without an intellect.
Right. So it's quite clear. There is difference between intelligence, you can use the word information, and intellect. So what I am giving you right now is what? There's a transaction happening between you and me. We all are reading from the book. So what is Swamiji giving us? What am I trying to pass on to you right now?
Intelligence to
Intelligence.
help us build our intellect.
Correct. It is intelligence. It is information. By any stretch of imagination, I cannot build your intellect. Intellect is that capacity to think, to reason originally. So you need to develop it on your own with your own efforts, for which there is no doubt you need intelligence, you need knowledge, you need information. Without information, without knowledge of the scriptures, I mean, how can we function in life? So you cannot say intelligence or information or knowledge is not required. Definitely it is required. But are you using your intellect to make that knowledge your own? That is where intellect comes into play. Do you get the point? Teachers and textbooks, however great it may be, we are studying scriptures right now, we're studying Vedanta. What can they give us? Right now, what are we learning from this book?
They can give us intelligence. It's like having a guide in your hand, but how you use it or don't use it is on up to you.
How to live life? How to live life? It is a science. It is an art. We keep on saying it. But just because you have mastered a particular book, governing business and relationships, right? What's the theme of this book? Self-management. And if you cannot manage yourself, you cannot manage anything external. You will not be able to manage your family, you will not be able to manage nothing. So, what is self management? It is your intellect managing your mind. Now, you may master this concept. You may write exams on this context, on this concept. You may explain it to others quite well, but your own life could be in a mess. Are you getting the point? But definitely we need knowledge, we need books. So just because you are studying the best of knowledge, the best of information, per se, it means nothing. So are you making that knowledge your own knowledge? That is where your study comes, that questioning comes, that reflection comes. So knowledge which is laid down by the great masters, any knowledge for that matter, not only scriptural knowledge. You may go to the best school or university in America or anywhere in the world for that matter. That does not mean you are going to get powerful intellect. You may get best of knowledge, but per se it means nothing to you. So no teacher, no textbook can give you intellect. It can give you what?
Knowledge.
Information.
Knowledge, information, intelligence, all they are synonyms. So how do you make that knowledge your own? Right now, we all are getting the best of knowledge. How to, let's say, manage our relationships. I'm giving you a simple example, you know. But then how do you get along with your wife, with your husband, with your colleagues?
Reflect on this knowledge.
To make it your own. Otherwise, others might benefit by your knowledge. You know, you tell your friend, hey, this is how you relate to your wife, and they may have beautiful relationship, and you may end up in a divorce. It's possible. So there is no doubt we need knowledge laid down by all these great thinkers of the past, but that you can't, it cannot be at a cost of building your intellect. That's what is happening in educational institutions. You know, they bombard students with intelligence, which is required. There is hardly any time to build intellect. Even to use intelligence, you need a powerful intellect, isn't it? In fact, he gives that example. There's so many doctors, so many engineers. They went to, let's say, best of schools. And how many of them they have come out with some scientific discovery, which is unique. A very handful of people, isn't it? So they have information, but the intellect is not developed. So you need powerful intellect to apply knowledge in any field in your field. Number one, you need intellect to apply the knowledge of the scriptures in your own life. That is where the role of the intellect is. That's what intellect does. We'll discuss this next week. Any quick doubts?
How do you explain our, like, I'm sure all of us can recall some personalities in our lives that haven't had any, information, formal information schooling, but they were powerhouse of intellect. How do you explain that?
A good many thinkers were like that. I mean, Shakespeare did not go to any college or university. Herbert Spencer, he was not a graduate of any university. So many thinkers that, I mean, we can go on giving examples. They were original thinkers. Schools and universities were built around them. So it's nothing to do with scholastic education.
Okay.
There are people who are illiterate, but they have a powerful intellect. Unconsciously, they are applying this principle in their day-to-day life. They have that spirit of inquiry. So our concept of wise person is he has to have degrees, that too from like all well-known school and universities, which is okay if you make use of it. Great, but per se it means nothing. I think soon he's going to tell us, either in this book or some other book. Like somebody went to the scientist Herbert Spencer and he said, "Sir, you must be a voracious reader. You must be in the library all the time reading this book, that book." To which he said, "No, sir. If I was a voracious reader like others, I would have been as ignoramus as others. I would have been as ignorant as others." So it's nothing to do with scholastic education. That's our understanding, So the simple answer is they were original thinkers.
Thank you.
I have a question. Where do
Please.
you put the common sense in this whole thing? Is it closer to intellect developing? The people sometimes says he has a very good common sense. So
Common sense is a layman's term for intellect.
okay. Thank you.
So all good? So there are one or two quick announcements, Radha.
Hari Om all. You must have received an email last Thursday from Vedanta Midwest. It is an appeal to support the cause of Vedanta in America. The Institute is dedicated to making this timeless wisdom of Vedanta accessible to all individuals and communities across the US through these public lecture classes, weekly study classes, youth programs, and even personal guidance from Amitji. So I'm sure you would have benefited from this knowledge. And if you feel inspired to support the mission, we ask you to look through the email. There are details on how you can contribute, and you can contribute as per your capacity. So please check for that email and make the contribution if you feel that way. The next announcement is that we will have our question and answer session for August. It will be on Wednesday, August 5th and August 12th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Amitji will answer the questions that were generated from the small group discussions and also send directly to questions@vedantamidwest.org. If you have any questions within these 2 days, you can send them to the email given there and Amitji will answer the questions. So please mark your calendars and attend the Q&A sessions. Thanks.
All right. So have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amitji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amitji.